I recorded this speech to give later with English and French versions. Okay, so now I'm very glad to meet you, Professor Strand, and it's a great honor for me and a great audience to have you today for this speech about this fascinating and serious subject as Hessdalen project and Hessdalen Light. Okay, and we are in presence of Sarah Whitman, my friends. We will help me because my English is not so fluent to translate my question to French to English and maybe to translate some point of your answers. Okay, so first maybe Sarah can introduce you in a few words about your experience, about your work, about your studies.
Yes. Yes, sure. Welcome to UAP Investigation Network, and it's a real honor to have you there. So I'm just going to have a quick presentations of your background. So here, your Professor Erling P. Strand is a Norwegian electrical engineer who earned his master's degrees in electrical engineering from NTNU in 1981, specializing in physical electronics and telecommunications technology. After working in various companies, particularly in fiber optic communication, he became a lecturer in computer science at University, in 1988, a role he held until his retirement in August 2023. In 1983, he co-founded Projet Hessdalen, focused on studying unexplained light phenomena in Hessdalen Valley, where he led scientific and technical effort during field work in 1984 and 1985. He established a fully automated measurement station in the valley, known as the Blue Box in 1998. Professor Strand has participated in numerous scientific expeditions in Australia, Mexico, and the United States, and served as the European representative for the Society for Scientific Exploration, named SSE, from 2007 to 2013. Today, so retired, he remains active as the chairman of Projet Hessdalen and works as an author and speaker through his own company. Is that right?
Yeah. That is correct.
Okay.
It's a very great experience and since a very long time. And also repeat, we are so proud to have you today to talk about your experience. So, because I know Sarah has experience too, because she's a top investigator about UAPs here in France and in the international since I remember 21 years ago, Sarah. I think.
Yeah, it's been 21 years that I've been investigating on the subject, yes. In France, so, different countries as well.
Yeah,
so
great.
So as me, Sarah has also experienced with phenomena since her childhood.
Childhood,
so childhood, yeah. Okay, so I have two, and the goal of UAP investigation is simple to understand. Is to explore the UAPs through the lens of interdisciplinary science, and then to gather and share data in France with French researchers and investigators, but also with other people all around the world. And it is the reason why I ask you to be here today to talk us about the Hessdalen project and about your experience and your studies. So, professeur, quelles sont les origines du projet, vos premières observations et l'évolution de ce projet au fil des années?
Okay, so here are some questions. So where does it come from? I mean, this project. Why did you started it? And first of all,
Well, the Hessdalen project started back in 1983, based to the fact that in that small Norwegian valley, Hessdalen, it's only 15 kilometers long, very small. Now it's 100 people living there. They started to see UAP, sometimes close to their houses, very much during a week. At the most, it could be up to 20 observations a week in that small valley. So many people were upset, and many people went up there to look for themselves to see it. And I was one of those people who went up there and did see it. And that made a very big impression on me when you see it yourself. After that, some friends of mine, we gathered together to discuss if we could do something, do some measurement and so on. Well, before that, it started late 1981 with this high activity. We started the project Hessdalen 1983, that 1.5 years afterwards. And between there was many people who was wondering why doesn't any research taking place? Why doesn't that university involve themselves? Why doesn't that research establishment involve themselves? Many people talked about that. We as a group, we come together, we met, and we also talked about that. Why doesn't they do something? Why doesn't that university, and so on? And we decided, well, when no one do anything, why cannot we do something? And then we decided to start Project Hessdalen. That was in June 1983. And we planned to do field work. The first autumn, we started it in the summer. And during the autumn, we prepared a field work with instruments and people up in the valley. And that field work took place in 1984, close to 1 month. People up there. We got several results. We had several instruments and got, I would say, very interesting data. After that, our main meet was trying to engage scientists around the world. So the results from our first field work in 1984, I wrote a technical report also, which can be found on the internet on oldhessdalen.org. That was spread to many scientists, and we tried to involve other scientists to take part of the study. We involved also the Norwegian military, which was very interesting in the topic, and they also helped us. So we got a lot of help from different professional people. We had another fieldwork in 1985, but at that time, the high activity of sightings had gone down to a very low level. So during those 4 weeks we were in action in 1985, the second field work, I think it was only one great observation. So we didn't do anything more after that. So then after 1985, I continued spreading the information, telling about the result we had on conferences, the journalists, and we wanted to have more engagement, more and more cooperation in this topic. We didn't do anything more in Hessdalen though, because we thought it has stopped. There was no more observation reported. But in 1993, that's 8 years after our second fieldwork, I was invited to come up to Hessdalen to have a presentation for the local inhabitants up there, to tell them of what have happened after we had our fieldwork with all the measurements and so on. They didn't know anything about what was happening. So I went up there, told them about the growing interest among scientists, about scientific conferences I've been participating in, and the growing interest among journalists as well, and also the scientists though. They was very happy, and they said that it still continues up here. And I was surprised because I hadn't heard anything. But they said that we don't tell it anymore because they were so ridiculed many places in the early 80s when they told about it. The press and people and everything was very, so they didn't want to be ridiculed anymore. So they didn't tell about their observations anymore. But I then decided to start a project again. At that time, I was lecturing at the university college and used my student to build an automatic station, which was set up in 1998, which is the blue box now, with automatic camera view and alarm systems and so on. And also I started to collect the observations the different people have had. And all these data can be found on oldhessdalen.org. We have also run smaller field work for young students, which we called Science Camp. That was done every year since 2002. Young students, together with their teachers, well, 15, 16 years old students, going up in Hessdalen, a lot of instruments, staying out in the nights for 1 week and looking for the UAP. And several times the UAP did show up. And so the young students was very excited about that, of course. And we also, of course, was very glad. This science camp continued until 2019, in fact. Then the COVID stopped it all. We have also developed cooperation with scientists from first of Italy. Italian research facility went up to Hessdalen from, I think it was 2000. We started the cooperation back in 1995 and so on. And they have been doing measurement together with us. They're scientists from Italy. And after that, we have also had cooperation with scientists from Germany, from France as well. Yes, we started cooperation with scientists from France. We presented this on Japan. Japan, yes, and the main people from Japan went up to visit us in 2007 to see what we was doing. And we had cooperation with Japan after that. So I think it was 2010. They set up instruments in Hessdalen together with their cooperation partners, and they have had instruments running for a long time. We have had also actually the French scientists involved also scientists from Greek who have, and they have been mapping, the French scientists have done several different things, but one of the things they have done is to map the geological properties of the valley, because one of the big questions, why does it happen so much there in Hessdalen? So during the years, we have had several interesting results.
Okay, so maybe people don't know where Hessdalen is exactly. You can maybe show them with a PDF some maps if you want. Okay.
Yes.
And you will make some commentary about it, maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
I think I'll send you a PDF file which shows some maps. Maybe
yes,
you can.
Yes, I have the PDF.
Sorry, I just want to say something. Like, the fact that students are interested and works with you, I think it's a very good idea, because the new generations get interested in the subject. So, yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, you will be showing the PDF file, I guess.
Okay. Yes.
Or maybe.
So here we are some. We have some maps about Hessdalen. You know,
Yeah.
maybe the page 1 or this one. So can you? This is Hessdalen Valley. So
Yeah.
and yes, and can you make some commentary about the maps?
Yes, or maybe it's better if I find the file and maybe I can share my screen, I guess. Let me see.
You can share it on normally on the right side. It says share your screen.
Yeah.
Est-ce que tu peux traduire, Sarah, s'il te plaît?
Traduire quoi?
Est-ce qu'il vient de me dire le professeur?
Ah pardon, il demande où est-ce qu'il peut partager son écran, parce que en fait il veut montrer la carte, et donc je lui explique que c'est en bas à droite.
D'accord, donc moi je vais arrêter de partager et comme ça il pourra lui partager. C'est ça?
Let me see, I find the file now, started on my computer.
Ok.
Il cherche son document sur son ordinateur.
D'accord, ok, ça marche.
Let me see, first when I get it up, I will start to share. Let me see now, that was maybe too big. I'm going to share, and to my right there is something chat. Yeah, there it is. And then I will use that one.
I'll let you do it. Okay, it's fine.
Let me see, I maybe make it bigger. I can make it.
You can zoom. I think you can zoom.
Is that better?
Yeah, yes, it's better. Yes. Better.
Yeah. Now you can see where Hessdalen Valley is in the middle part of Norway. And if you enlarge Norway, you see it's this is city Trondheim, and it's about 120 kilometers south of the Trondheim city. And it's a small valley. It's only 15 kilometers long, and you have mountains in the and 100 inhabitants, and you have mountains in the west, Finnsøhøgda, and you have Rognefjell on the eastern part, and Stordalshøgda is another mountain. So you have also several lakes. Lake Øyungen is the biggest one. Lake Hessdalen is also a big one, but you have also several smaller lakes as well. And if you are on Mount Rognefjell to the eastern part of Hessdalen, looking towards Mount Finnsøhøgda, you will see the picture you see there. And I actually was down in the valley. You can see which it all started with the first observations. And on the other direction, if you are on the mountains on the west, Mount Finnsøhøgda, and looking towards east, then you will see the picture you see there. Hegsetshøgda is a hill in Hessdalen, and above that area there's been a lot of sightings. So that's where it is. Do you want me to tell you a little bit about the history? Yes. Well, I mentioned about 20 observations a week in the early 80s, mostly as described as light, but after 1985 it decreased down to about 20 observations a year only. So the Hessdalen phenomenon, which we call it, or it's actually an UAP. The beginning it was called UFO, but that made it difficult for scientists, which we tried to involve. When we talked about UFO, they was not so happy about that. But we called it then the Hessdalen phenomenon. One type is strong white or blue flashes, lasting from a fraction of a second up to a couple of seconds. Can be yellow-white balls of light. They can have different shapes. They can still for minutes, even hours, and they can move slowly or fast. It can be several meters in diameter, and the ground has been illuminated beneath them. Sometimes another light with another color can be attached to the main light. So there's many different shapes and speeds can go stand still for minutes and can go very fast. The fastest one we measured was 30,000 kilometers an hour. You have also several lights together. So it looks like these lights are connected to an object, because when these lights are seen, when they're moving, these lights, they move all together as if they are onto something. And also when this light has been seen, when it's not completely dark outside, the people tell their lights onto a black object.
An object, it's a physical object?
Yeah, it seems, yeah.
Okay.
And also
sorry, do you see them divided into many different ones sometimes, or just are they just one and then there is another one next, or do they divide into 3 or 4?
Well, that has also happened, but most of those reported when they have been seen of the observer, they tell about some specific number of lights, 2 lights, 3 lights, and so on. That's the most common thing. But we have used radar, for instance, when we have followed it on radar, and on the radar screen, we have seen it been split into several.
All right. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So I saw in a film this radar sighting. They can follow the object with the radar.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you have that. Well, about the daylight discus or the UFO type, one of the famous one is this hunter who saw a flying disc above him when he was hunting in the daytime for the birds. He was hunting, and was sunshine, and he said he felt something coming from behind, and he saw 3 shadows on the ground, and after a very short time, they all 3 changed up to stand on the edge. You can imagine they move 90 degrees, and then they suddenly disappeared.
All right.
Okay.
Do you actually have questions? Do you actually see them frequently during the day or during the night better, or it's?
It is possible to see them during the day as well. But normally the lights has been easily seen most during night because it's easier to see it when it's dark outside. But we have discovered that also many people go up in the valley to take pictures of the beautiful nature. And on these pictures, they can see something strange. Let me see if I have some of these pictures where people have been seeing. Well, they're coming soon. This is also a famous one, which was moving. This is an illustration, of course. This is also very common, where they say this shapes. This was also a famous story where this woman who was driving the car saw it was light all around the car. This was during the nighttime, though, on all sides. And then when she came up, he continued driving, and when she had reached it, up on the Hessdalen Valley to go in, then this hat moved away, and then she saw this object.
So it seems to be a very different type of object. So we have a circular object, you have a cigar, you have
yes. Several different. This is also one interesting. This is a drawing made of the observer. This happened in the daytime, and what's so specific with that one is, well, first of all, the shape. It looked like some metal in the middle with some glowing light around it. And when he started to see it, he started to see only part of it to the left. You can imagine it was starting to be visible in the daytime. It was sunshine, starting to become visible in the left part, and this visibility where they can see it was an object become bigger and bigger. So after not so very long time, the whole object was visible.
It's incredible. So I can read a mental communication took place. So it was a mental communication with the witnesses.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with this consciousness, did you receive the messages, like telepathical messages or something?
Yes, he did.
So it's very strange because it reminds us the news for this day news with some witnesses says there is some mental communication with the technology of the UAPs.
Yes, that happened. Not so many. We haven't heard so many of such stories, but some
could
few.
You tell, in that case, could you tell us what happened exactly? What messages did he receive? What happened?
He didn't tell. That was for him.
Ah.
Okay.
He kept it for himself.
Yeah.
Ah, it was especially for him. So
yeah, I would guess so. He didn't want to talk about what messages he did receive, but he said he did receive messages. So well, he has some reason why he don't want to tell it. Sure.
Yeah. Did he feel anything? Felt fear or any?
Yes, he was. Well, I think he got some headache. There was pressure in his head, and there was something going on. But when all has been finished and the object has disappeared, this headache disappeared as well. And of course, he went home very well, very fast. So I can, I would guess it was a little bit
I can imagine.
scary.
I think Sarah and me can understand why the witness don't want to tell the message, because when you have some experience with the contact with UAPs and NICE, we know that sometimes it's very personal connections, and we can. I think we can understand it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's very personal. It's from your own, private life. So sometimes you don't want to share it. Yes, and the experience can be quite traumatic as well. Sometimes that you don't want to expose too much. Yes.
Yeah. Well, now I go into the pictures, which I mentioned. People take pictures of the nature out there, and when they study the pictures afterwards, on some of them, they see something else as well. This is one picture, and this one is another one, which they didn't see this phenomena when they took the picture, but when they studied the pictures afterwards, they saw there was something up in the sky. And when you blow up that, you can see it looked like a flying disc, this one though.
Yes.
Sometimes you have strange shapes, as this one. Looks like a cube.
A cube, yes, a cube.
Yeah, but the strange thing is that the sun is up and it's coming from the right part of this picture, and it seems that the dark part of this cube is towards the sun. You should expect that the side on these phenomena which are towards the sun would be illuminated by the sunlight. But it doesn't seem that in this occasion, it seems to be darker. That's also strange. There are several pictures with strange thing. This is also one strange form with shadows sometimes, and they didn't. No one of these have noticed anything when they took the picture. It was seen afterwards.
So it's once they have taken the picture that they've seen the object. They haven't seen it from their own eyes.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
It's often happened. People take pictures, then after they look at the pictures, they show after there is a new UAP.
Yes, that's right. And maybe I show some where you have several lights together. This is a drawing made of the observer who saw this black object with 3 lights on it, yellow or white light. You see the drawing to the right, and there is a red light in front to the right though on this drawing. And he has also made a drawing of the mountains and where he was staying, and the story he described how it moved these 3 lights though, and it moved around this Finnsøhøgda. That's one of the biggest mountains. It went back in the first place, and to the right, though more to the north, it showed up again, coming in front of Finnsøhøgda, between him and Finnsøhøgda, and make a round and went back Finnsøhøgda to the south, to the left again, which is to the south, and disappeared. He managed to take a picture though. And,
oh, yes.
You see, this is the picture of the actual phenomena. In the picture, you don't see the black object which these lights are attached to, because these lights were so strong, so he used very short exposure time because of the strong light. And that is too short to be able to see the black object when it's dark outside.
It could look like propulsion systems or not, maybe like, rocket, or no, it is not, it's different, or it looks like propulsion systems, like in a rocket.
No, it didn't see anything.
Yeah.
No, without any sound as well. So
there were no sound, you said?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No sound. Okay.
It's just a question, because you probably have a special program to actually analyze all these pictures, I guess. So to just make the difference between a meteorological aspect or a something natural or something, an object, actually different type of object.
Yes, well, and the stories of the people as well, how they describe it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's very good. I could also mention that all these pictures, which I show you now, and the story, more of the story of the witnesses describing the happening, that's on the internet. So if people can go to old.hessdalen.org and click on observation previous years, and then they can go in and see all the different observation. So if they click on observation 1982, you will see that pictures as well.
So I will add the link in the description of the interview for the audience. They can see and the pictures. Okay.
Yes, and also the stories. If you go, yes, as well. Yeah. Well, here's a
blue box. Yes.
Blue box, and
so you own a system, it's automatic system to record the phenomena. Okay.
And well, this is from 1999. We have renewed this blue box camera system now, so people can, well, first of all, they can look at all the old pictures, which I show you now, but they can also go into www.hessdalen.org and look through these cameras now. So if they want to have a look at the situation in Hessdalen now, they can do that. And also I can mention that the camera which is running there all the time, they are all recorded as well. And there are made what we call stack images. That is everything which is happening during 15 minutes, it's made into one picture. So people can look at these pictures which has been recorded, that they are sent to this hessdalen.org website, not old Hessdalen, but the new one, www.hessdalen.org, and look at first of all the live screen, and you can also look at the different maybe.
That's very interesting. But once they see it on live, can they actually mention to you if they see anything at that type of hours?
Yeah. And they can even record it on their own computer if they want. So many people have done that. But if they don't manage to
it's like SETI atom. It's the same process,
Yeah, probably.
Yes. Maybe
amazing.
I should.
You probably can download, I guess, this program so you can actually watch it from your computer.
Yes. Yes. Let me see. Well, I can. Well, it's. We can show you that afterwards, maybe. Now you see this presentation. Make a summary of most of the. Well, this is one of the videos captured by the blue box. You see it's coming there, short, small light is going into the big one. It's hard to see, but this one is also on the internet, so people can have a look at it.
Amazing.
Yeah, and also we have discovered that these lights sometimes send out smaller lights out to from the main light and disappear. Here's a sequence of a movie, of a video clip, which was recorded by Massimo Teuterani, and he, where you can see this smaller light coming out of this big light.
So I make an interview with Massimo Teodorani, and I know he's one of your good friends. Okay.
Yes, yes. Massimo has been to Hessdalen many times and doing research. So I know him very well. Yes, very good person.
He's like you, a top-level scientist about this phenomena all around the world.
Sorry?
It's like you, Massimo is one of the top scientists about this phenomena
yes.
actually in the world.
Yes,
I think.
Yes, that's right. I'm very glad that he chose to come to Hessdalen and do a lot of scientific work up there. That's very great. Yes.
I just have a questions about the camera. Did you ever had any problem, like encounter any interferences and then the camera stops?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
That has happened. So we about the camera system, cameras on batteries. I can tell that we normally put in new cameras new batteries in the camera. Sorry, new batteries in the camera before we go out in the field, and then we have discovered that the battery is gone, no power left after a short period of time. So we have to change the batteries. But the strange thing is when the batteries which were in the cameras, which was all the different cameras, when they was removed from the location, was taken out from, and instead of throwing them away, we measured them, and then they were full of energy again. Another thing with the power problems is that during the first field work, we had power to the headquarters, which was up on the mountain, power cable, and the power, we had problems with the power, mainly when these phenomena showed up. Luckily, not every time, otherwise we wouldn't have so much data, but that happened very many times.
So have you got have you got some explanation about it, about this problem with the battery, with the energy?
No, it will just be speculation, of course. We haven't done any scientific laboratory test which could tell why this happened. And it's also very difficult to find out how should you, we don't know what is happening. So we cannot test it in a lab afterwards, because
Yes.
the same situation will not occur in the laboratory. But of course you can speculate. One interesting topic, I think, could be, well, this is speculation though from me. Could it be that the properties of the electrical properties of the material is changed? Will it be that there is something going into the atoms itself to change the electrical properties of the atoms? That's one possibility. Maybe we could test do some tests in the valley. That could be interesting. We haven't done that yet.
Yeah, well, we perhaps a place that you probably know in France, which is called the Col de Vence. It happens several times while when we were investigating that our battery just, stopped working or was completely discharged. And so we thought maybe it's a high level of frequency, like electromagnetism or something. So we have detector now that we can use to check if there is any high frequencies that could have, provoke this phenomenon.
Yeah, could be interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you found anything?
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah. Yes. But I think it's interesting to discover and notice that such thing is happening. So you can study if what is actually happening, which make this electrical power system so disturbed.
So you could maybe share some data in the future with Sarah about Col de Vence, about Hessdalen. Is the goal of UAP investigation to share data? Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we do with UAP investigation, but also UAP check. We try to share as much as data and scientific element all together, trying to, it's important to share our work. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, maybe some very few of all the data. This is my first observation. This ball of light, which hovering over the Hegda, the mountains, and it's also possible to see the mountain, the edge of the mountain in the east, Stordalshögda, in the background. So this light phenomena is actually down in the valley. It continued for hours, and on a couple of occasions, these sent out spotlights, like a car light illuminating the ground and also up in the air. So you can imagine this light isn't only the light itself, but out from this ball of light, there's coming a spotlight, which can illuminate the ground.
Okay.
So
That's interesting when it's illuminate the ground, or if you see shadows of those objects as well.
Yeah. So this is one original picture of this phenomenon, which continued for a long period of time. And that was my first observation up in Hessdalen, and make me very curious on what could this be. Yeah, and this is also a picture when the photographer took a picture with long exposure, several seconds, and he said that during my when I took the picture, when the shutter was open on the camera, it disappeared, he said. But he wasn't aware of at that time that he actually managed to take on the photo itself how it disappeared. You can see the ball of light to the right side there, and then you see some yellow light. So yes, it has moved, suddenly moved, and going straight down and up again to the left and disappeared to the left very fast. So that was lucky he managed to take that. And this happened very fast, so fast that he just noticed that it was disappeared. It disappeared, he said, but he didn't know how. But the camera captured how it disappeared. Yeah, this is also a drawing of the map of the observers, and this light you see on the mountainside, it happened when it was fog and snow. So you see it's actually, or you can say the clouds is down to the mountain. And even though it's very high humidity, it shows up. This light moved first towards the observer and then to the left in front of the other mountain. And he managed to take another picture before it disappeared behind that hill. And if it hadn't been clouds down to the mountains, or not so foggy though, it would have been possible to see mountains in the background. So this is actually happening down in the valley, and it happened in all weather conditions. Well, flashes is the type of light which is happening most. These pictures has also long exposure time, several seconds, and the flashes happen so fast. So I normally say when you start to see some flashes, you cannot take a picture then, because before you have reacted and taken the picture, it has gone. So we say that if you start to see some flashes, continue taking long exposure pictures, because it seems to be that when some flashes shows up, several others shows up in the same time. So it's a great chance that you will get a flash to the photo. On this picture, blue, mostly blue or white. On this one, it has also been moving during. It can last up to a couple of seconds, mostly less than a second, mostly only one flash. But on this one, a little bit, 1 second maybe, and it has been moving, and it's blue. Here you see a picture with long exposure taken in the middle of the night, a view from Mount Rognefjell to Hessdalen, where you see the Hessdalen and the lights from the houses to the left part. And the colors you see is the optical spectrum of the light itself. So we use something in front of the camera, which we call it an optical spectrum, or the grating in front, optical grating, places in front of the camera lens, and we take a picture with a long exposure time, and this grating will make it possible to see what color there are in the light. And by analyzing these colors, you can find out much about the source. So all the colors you see on the left part of the picture is colors from houses, the optical spectrum, which is down below the light and above the light. So then you can see, if you look at the different spectrum, the colors from the different light, you see they look a little bit different. And that is due to the lamp itself, a house lamp, which has some gas inside, which make it these spots, these colors from red to blue. Sometimes there are more spots of light. And if you analyze those, you can in fact find out what kind of gas there is inside the lamp, though. We had set up with this camera system, taking picture every minute during the nighttime in the science camp period. And on one of these, or some of these pictures, you find something interesting. The red arrow point out the interesting thing. It's a blue light flash, happened very fast, which has been moving very fast down in the valley. And it seemed to be some kind of oscillating too. And in the lower part, we took a similar picture back in 1984, where you see this oscillating as well. And I saw that in 1984, that was during the first field work, we took that picture, and I saw this light coming myself with my own eyes. And one managed to take the picture though, camera on tripod, long exposure. And after I followed this light, and this oscillating become bigger and bigger. So, but when he was finished with the picture, the exposure, taking picture, it continued more and more and more, bigger and bigger oscillation, and then it disappeared when it was on the biggest one. So this happened too. This is what we call type 1, blue or white flashes, sometimes moving very fast sometimes, as this picture shows.
Yes.
Yeah, we have this night in 2015, we started to see flashes, and we took several pictures during the night, and on 15 of these pictures, there is possible to see some flash. Here you see one which is above the horizon to the right part, and here is one below the horizon. So it happened even down as well. Here's another one. So this is below the horizon as well. Yeah, that was some of these 15 kilometers. This picture is from the automatic station. This has happened also probably very fast. The automatic camera system, it looked out in the valley all the time. It was connected to a computer, so computer analyzed the pictures, and whenever the computer found something interesting, it recorded the picture and also started video recording. that is happening today too. Back in 1999, which this was recorded onto analog VHS video system. So on most of these short video clips from 1999 and so on, you don't manage to get the flashes because they're too short. But the video system, which is now, it's possible.
Yeah, I think it will be great to have this kind of system, maybe in other country, in the hotspot of UAP investigations, to gathering the data. Maybe, like said Sarah, I have this one in Col de Vence, maybe, or maybe in other country. Are there some scientists or people want to ask you to bring them this kind of system in other countries or not?
Well, there are some who is starting to build stations, automatic stations.
Yes.
I have contact with some few, and they are talking with us. So that's great, I think. But one of the main problems is the financial situation.
Yes.
The instruments cost money, so we have to find people who are interested in and supporting this, so we can get the right instruments and so on.
It could be interesting because in Col de Vence we have Project Phoenix, is Serge Tinland who's actually owned that, and he's the founder with his team, and he's in connection as well with Avi Loeb, with Harvard University, with the Galileo project.
Yeah.
So it could be interesting maybe to, create a link between you and Project Phoenix as well, if you're interested.
Yeah, that could be. Just short about the project. We have maybe talked a lot of it already, but the Project Hessdalen started in 1983, and we had goals to get scientific data and get the phenomena accepted. And this project part one went all the way to 1994. We had two fieldworks in 1984 and 85, and with the second one was split in two parts, one with instruments and one without any instruments. Because in the first fieldwork, we discovered that the power system to the headquarters with the instruments inside failed several times, and we felt that it happened mostly when the phenomenon was present. So we wanted to see if there was a correlation, if that was true. Maybe the phenomenon didn't want to be captured or something. So we decided to have one with instruments and one without instruments. But sadly, in part two, was only one great observation. Of course, that happened when there was no instrument, though, but it was too little to prove that there is a connection. So we don't know. Well, that was in Project Hessdalen Part 2, and several people participated. There you see our fieldwork station back at headquarters in 1984 and 1985. Inside these boxes, there were several instruments where the Heineck visited us, and here's a summary of. Yes, maybe Heineck did come all the way from the United States to watch us during our second fieldwork. So that was an honor for us, because he's very, very famous scientist. Professor Heineck.
Oh,
And
yes.
anything happened while he was there?
No, sorry, no. Sadly, it would have been great
Yes.
if he had seen it himself, and of course he wanted, but it didn't happen at that time. Well, here is a drawing of the instruments we had inside these stations, and the results of these can be found on the website. All the details mention the radar. We could also see it on radar when nothing was seen. It could be invisible, in fact. We measured the speed on one we saw moving, light moving very fast, and we measured this distance and so on. 30,000 kilometers an hour, very fast.
Wow.
That was the highest. This spectrum, we can measure the electromagnetic spectrum, and we found that sometimes there was noise in a broad frequency band. Magnetograph, we measure the Earth magnetic field. This Earth magnetic field is changing much. It doesn't always stand still. Sometimes they call it magnetic storms, magnetic pulsations as well. And we had the instruments who could measure all these changes in the Earth's magnetic field, measure when it was magnetic storms and so on. And there seems to be some kind of correlation, because when there is high magnetic activity, there was higher probability to have an observation.
Oh,
is there a correlation between the two?
the electromagnetism, yeah.
Yes, there seems to be a correlation. Maybe the most spectacular test we did was with a laser, because people had told us and if they use the strong spotlight car or spotlight pointing towards a light, they have discovered that it disappeared when the light was illuminated towards this phenomenon. And we wanted to test if that was the case, but instead of a big, strong spotlight, we used a laser instead. Not a strong one, very weak laser, red laser, so it wouldn't harm anyone because it was weak. But there was a reaction on this. There was a reaction in we did the test 9 times, and in 8 of those, there was a reaction with double flashing from an ordinary flashing. But of course, many people think that they will use a laser, but I will say, remember, don't use the strong lasers which are using today. People think that they must use a strong laser, and it's higher probability, but that is not the case. We had this laser we used was very weak, only 1 milliwatt, which is even much less than the ordinary laser pointer we have today. But even though there was a reaction.
So because as you can see in the United States, some people like Travis Taylor from the Skinwalker Ranch use a very strong laser but you told that it's not the good way to do.
No, because you can disturb the flights as well. You know.
Yes. So that is illegal, in fact.
Yes.
What
do you think about LIDAR? LIDAR is used a lot in the United States. Do you want to use it yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be good.
Have you actually collected all the different colors orbs that you have seen, like orange, yellow, green, blue, red? Because
Yes.
there is a study who's been made in Skinwalker Ranch. I think it was Dr. Kelleher, who did say that there is these different type of colors, and some can be radioactive, some could be, you know, not. But I don't know. This is only a speculation for the moment. But there seems to be these type of colors only.
Yeah, there has been several different types of colors of these phenomena: yellow, white, blue, orange,
And green usually, I think.
yes.
We've never seen any purple one or any, you know, different type of color, or blue or light blue, or, you know, it's always the same type of blue, same type of orange, same type of, you know, yellow.
Yeah.
So,
It can be due to the fact that it's a very, when such things is happening, it's very hard to notice the details. But all the old reports from Hessdalen can be found on old Hessdalen and written down what people have said, and also what they described about the movement, colors, and so on. But we haven't made any summary of all these reports. They are out there, so anyone can go and do some summaries of if they want. We haven't done it yet, no.
I have another question, because you have many lakes around the area, you said to start. Have you ever seen any of those objects who went inside the water or came out and in, or inside the water also?
I haven't seen it myself, but there has been some few people who claim they've seen something in the water. Okay. And also one story I remember is when light was moving, passing the Lake Øyungen, and just after a couple of seconds after it has disappeared, the witness noticed a light coming from the water, they said. So it seems to be light down in the valley, down in the water. And also there has been very few stories which indicate as they claim to have seen something in the water, but it's so very few, and so I will not say it's common. No.
Okay, so you do not have any pictures of
no
of
no, we don't have anything of such where the light is inside the water. No. Okay.
So yes.
Yeah, maybe 53 visual observations during the first fieldwork. Well, we got 188 reports, but all this report has been studied, and we have found that 53 of these 188 is telling about this Hessdalen phenomena. And a rocky motion has sometimes fast that if you're standing out on this mountain, some people say that they felt as if there was in a boat out in the ocean with waving movement back and forth. And this feeling, several of the people who noticed this, they noticed it. There was a group of people and most of them notice this I call it rocking motion. You can maybe you can say it's a waving motion, maybe better, as you are in the both out in the ocean with a big wave moving back and forth like that, and that we have discussed what could be reason why they had such a feeling. And we have spoken with experts, both on NASA as well, where they say that if your brain is influenced by strong, low-frequency electromagnetic radiation,
yes,
that can happen. And another thing which can happen, well, other reason can be also infrasound. If you have a strong infrasound present, it can disturb your inner ear in a way, so you got this feeling as you are in both out in the ocean.
and there is a microwave have also an effect in the brain of the witnesses, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I haven't studied that so much, but it could be interesting to map if there is also other things too. We have also measured after this fieldwork strong electrical pulses, or this spectrum analyzer. We used the result we got on the spectrum analyzer screen, where you, the instrument show the different frequencies and the intensity of average frequencies from a certain frequency band to another one. And the result, or what we saw, can be the reason or the result from very high electrical pulses.
Yes.
That could be. So that's also interesting. Yeah, I will tell about this later. While you have mentioned this interaction with this flashing, double flashing 8 out of 9 times. But nearly 1 week later, there was a red light was seen moving on the ground close to the feet of the observers, as if there was a laser back to us. So you can discuss this if that was an interaction or not, or also another interaction. Yeah, I mentioned this power failure.
Yes.
Which we have discussed before. Yes.
You use a lot of batteries, I think.
Yes. Part 2, that was in 1993 to 2021. So at that time, it was established at the Østfold University College. We started with building the blue box and using my student to build the blue box. Well, actually, we started a scientific workshop where I gathered many of the scientists. I've been to other conferences around the world. I invited them to a conference in our workshop, actually, in Hessdalen. That was the start of part 2. I had used my students very well. Got several bachelor projects, and we put up the automatic station in 1998. And we had cooperation with Italian scientists which have been out in the field in Hessdalen with their instruments and their people. We have had several, 2001 to 2004, every year. They've been out in the field for many days. We have had run science camp for young students. We bring the young students up there, and that is very popular among the students because you are staying out in the nighttime, up in the mountains with instruments, ready to capture the unknown, and which sometimes shows up. So I would recommend that for other places around the world too, where you have some teachers who want to do something for your student, which is not so common. This is very popular. And also this is getting this phenomena out in the school system. That's also important because, and also several students, we have had 1,000 students during the years, and when they see something themselves, it's influence. When people see the phenomena themselves, that do something with the people. And when we have several people, it will influence their people, so the phenomena will be more accepted.
The why I work on it too, because I was witness of this phenomena, but I think a lot of scientists now have experiences the phenomena, like Gary Nolan, like Professeur. Comment I don't remember the name. Avila, some kind of top level scientist and researcher work on it because they one day have this experience with the UAP phenomena.
Yeah, actually, it's Gary Nolan. He had it from a very young age. He actually saw a craft right above himself. He described on an interview.
Dr. Segalier too. He worked for the Skin Orange, and he recorded some anomalies with electromagnetic field and microwaves and gamma ray gamma. So he have two experience with the phenomena, and he want now to explore this anomaly.
Yes. So my first observation too, it happened when I was a student up in Trondheim studying at the university, and I saw flying disc going above my head, very close enough to see the details.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What type of engine was it?
It was an flying disc with 3 legs beneath it, and a top on the middle, and you like a standard where you can see very much, and it was silent, no sound, and it was flying with in the sunshine, and it was passing me, and I saw it very well. It made a big impression on me. That was before Hessdalen.
And did you had any emotional sensation, anything that happened, or?
No, I was only curious. Oh, why? What was that? I was walking alone, home from the lecturing of the day, and going back home to my apartment when this happened.
All right. Did you had any dream or anything strange happening after that? Like sometimes you can get strange.
Not what I remember, but I remember it did a big impression on me. So after that, I was involved in more the UFO type of engagement. So that's maybe also one of the reasons why I'm involved in the Hessdalen project.
Yeah, it's the reason why we're in that field as well. I think
Yes, 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 yes. And I'm very glad that it's more accepting to talk about such kind of things now than it was in the beginning. I remember when I was a student back before 1980, I went to some of the professors at the university want to talk about it. And I remember one of them took me into his office where it was only me and him. No one else could hear what we was talking about. And then he said he was very interested, but he didn't dare to say that he was interested in such kind of things when other people was listening. So that was the case at that time. But now I think it's much more accepted. You have had so many people who have seen it. They've been doing some research. It's more accepted as a real phenomenon now. That is very good.
It's also from 2017 when the first report of the program of research was done from the Pentagon. When it came out, it helped a lot. And so that's also why now we can talk about it.
Yeah, and that's very good. I remember I got a phone call from an old person several years ago after the Hessdalen phenomenon was accepted as a real phenomenon. You know, we involved students and school system, and so now it was real accepted. He phoned me. He was 80 years old and told me about a happening he had experienced when he was 20 years old. That is 60 years. He was 80 now when he told me this story, and he said I was the first one who heard his story. He felt it was accepted, possible to tell it now, and he told it to me. And you can imagine this person had kept his mouth shut about his observation when he was 20. And I was thinking, I guess it's many of such kind of people who don't want to tell about it. But now it's possible to tell.
Yes. It's a very strong story. It is the reason why we do the job today with you, with other people, because I think we are in the morning of the new paradigm now.
Yeah.
You can talk now of this phenomenon because it's a worldwide phenomenon. A lot of people, so much people has been or are in contact with the phenomena. So now it's time to work together to gathering the data and make a good science, like Maximo Teodorani talked to me, to make a good science now.
Yeah. I could mention that the scientific workshop in 1994, where I managed to gather high-level scientists from around the world coming to Hessdalen and discuss it on the workshop. When the press, Norwegian press, discovered that high-level scientists actually took this seriously back in 1994, then they stopped ridiculing about people. So that was a big step, I think. Before 1994, it was when people from Hessdalen told about their sighting, and the press very easily ridiculed the people. But that changed when they discovered that scientific people was interested.
So now it's very serious. and there is so much implications in science study about the mind, about the life too. What is the life? Is the life is always a carbon life or a DNA, or maybe life could be something else? Maybe in the plasma life, or maybe something like that, you know?
Yes, that is very interesting too. Yes, absolutely. Well, I'll summarize in part two, finish that. It ended 2021. Field stations together with the French people. And we had a course in fieldworks at Hessdalen University College. Well, I maybe go very fast, but in the first international workshop, we had 27 scientists from 8 different nations participated. And we have Professor Boris Smirnov. He said the phenomenon contains some qualitative elements which at the present time has no analog in science. Thus, the solution of this problem must lead to new concepts in science. And that's a strong statement coming from a professor, which is actually had been nominated to the Nobel Prize.
Yes.
David Freiberger for Strand also said that the Hessdalen project has established beyond doubt that the Hessdalen lights are real physical phenomena. These phenomena lies outside of already known physics. So the probability to discover something new, breakthrough, is high. So, well, I mentioned the press change after this workshop. No more smiling when reported about observation in Hessdalen. Well, there's a picture from the blue box. We put it up in 1998. We increased several more instruments, 2001, 2011, and now it's even more and better instruments inside. Here's also some interesting video from the blue box, several during the years from 1998 to 2023. It's not sending to the old Hessdalen org website anymore. It's a new system up now.
There is a lot of recording now in 2023. I saw there's more and more recording. For the 2 last years.
Yes,
2022, 23.
The number of sightings from the blue box, from the camera system, are small sometimes. But that is mainly due to the fact that the system hasn't been working all the time.
The system.
Okay, yeah, as you said, it's been failing sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, this is in a rush environment. It's winter, it's cold, it's up in the mountain, and it's hard to get the instruments working all the time. Okay. But in 2022 or late 2021, in fact, we made some improvement of the instruments inside the blue box. So that's one of the reasons why it's more now.
Okay.
Well, from 1998 to 2022, it's 166 witness reports. And it's possible to read all about them in the oldhessdalen.org observations. But this is from 1998. We have stories from 1967. So if you count what you can find on the website back from 1967, you will see much higher number than 166. 166 is from 1998 to 2022. So it's much more. And there are several of those pictures and stories I've told about during now can be found, written, and also the pictures out on this website. So people can go and read if they want.
Yes. I will copy the link in the descriptions of the interview.
Yes.
For our audience. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, science camp I mentioned. That was we started when there was a discussion in Norway, late 1990s, early 2000s. There was too few young students who were interested in mathematics and physics. And that could make it a problem because we have a technical society. We need physics, mathematics, we need power, we need telecommunication. And when so few people in Norway, as young students, was interested in this topic to study this, the happening could be that there were too few persons to keep the technical society running. So if there was any idea which could influence the young students to start to be interested in mathematics and physics and to learn this technology, then that was welcomed. And we then thought, oh, why don't we show them that if we go and study the Hessdalen phenomena, they could be interested in mathematics and physics. And during the science camp, of course, we had the focus on mathematics and physics, were on every level. And I think that showed them that mathematics and physics isn't a bad things. It can be really exciting. So
yes.
We got the funding for bringing the students up to the Hessdalen. So we used the mystery to show that science is exciting. So take the young students out in the field to investigate the mysterious Hessdalen phenomena. That was what we was doing. So we started this science camp where the students have cameras, there's a lot of instruments, staying in tents and ready to capture the phenomena.
So I passed an exam in philosophy in college. So now I make some physics, I make some math, and there is no edge to begin to be in the interest of the physics on the science. I think everybody can't make it whatever the age of the person. You don't need to be young to begin to make physics or maths.
Okay. No, that's right. Well, anyway, we took the young students and the teachers are doing research during 1 week in Hessdalen. So they have instruments, cameras, and they stay in tents during the nights in September, though, cold, freezing sometimes. And the phenomena can show up anytime.
It's quite an adventure for students to go.
Yes, absolutely.
Very good initiative.
Yes, it's exciting.
Yeah.
And the students love it.
J'aurais voulu faire ça, j'aurais voulu faire ça à la fac, ça aurait été fun, non?
Yeah, I would have loved to do that in university, he said.
Yes.
Time we were in university, it would have been good if we had any, initiatives like that.
Yes.
A teacher like Professeur Strand.
Oh,
maybe.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And we also need some teachers at which the young students have, because our students are older. But these young students, we have to find teachers who want to stay together with their young students out in a tent out in Hessdalen.
And in the cold as well, because it's not easy.
Yeah. But it's exciting, and it influenced them because they got observation themselves. So Science Camp, we had a website we'd use. It's not operation anymore now because the Science Camp is finished. But we had it first in September 2002. About 1,000 students have participated since then. Their attitude to such phenomena is or changed to the positive. So the phenomenon becomes more accepted as a real phenomenon. That was important for us. Several different kind of instruments, complicated instruments, and young students. With the youngest one was, I think, 15 years old, and we told them that they need to use instruments, and we had to explain them how the different instruments worked. And they were so keen on learning about these instruments, which could be complicated. These young students, they took the information in directly and was asking questions to us during our teaching before we went up there. And we said also that now you cannot read about this phenomena in teaching books. But we said that maybe you will maybe make this teaching book yourself on this. So yes. This was a new thinking of them. That was very positive. Many people, many young students took it very positive.
We should do that in France, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you get any media or journalists interested in a camp, or did they come? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been on the news, newspaper.
Yes. Yes. I have a list of all I know of, so it's much more than 100. So it's very popular.
That's a very good idea.
Yeah.
To get students involved.
Yeah.
You know, the new generation, and we're all concerned, and they're much more concerned than us because they are the next generation. Then.
Yes.
So.
Yes. So and they have the possibility to do the breakthrough science as well. They can be famous if they find the solution. And if the students know that, I think that they will be more keen on doing a job to try to find the solution.
Yeah, so, to be the one who found out what's going on, who they are.
Yes. So I encourage teachers to bring their students out in the field with instruments and look for the phenomena. That is exciting. Yeah, some pictures from this system where we had base camps on different locations. We had a group of 50 young students together with several teachers. We spread them out to different locations on the mountains. Here is a map of 4 different locations where was established with these young students 1 year. You have some pictures from how it looked like. They have stayed in tents, 2 tents, one with tents where they slept in, and one with the instruments which was running. Here's also another base camp where you see the tents and the tent with the instruments inside and so on, and the cameras outside. Here's another one, base camp Finso, base camp Øyungen. So we run this for several years, but not anymore. So we got several instruments too. We have grating in front, as I mentioned, and this is one picture. Let me take me back. You see, I mentioned this spectral pictures where you get the colors of the light. So on this picture, you see several of the houses, and you see the church, and you see also a car has been driving when we had the exposure time with this. And you see the colors from the car up here, from red up and down to blue, and all the rainbows colors in between. And on this picture, you can also see the Hessdalen phenomena in this star. And you get and you get the optical spectrum far up there and also down. So this is the location where this was pictures in the day before. And we have analyzed the optical spectrum from these phenomena and found out what elements it's inside. Well, of course, the elements you find in air, nitrogen, oxygen, and so on. But SC, the yellow one, scandium, that is a rare element. And that was interesting. We have, it seems to be scandium. That's a metal which can be used to make the metal in the airplane stronger and so on. So that is, I mentioned this connection with magnetical activity. When there is a strong magnetical activity in the atmosphere, then the probability to see something is higher. Whenever there is aurora, this is a picture of the aurora in Hessdalen, it's normally a high magnetical activity, magnetical storms, whenever this happens. So this night, 20th of September 2007, one of the greatest pictures ever taken of the phenomena. This picture of the aurora was a little bit past 9 in the evening, but at 10 something happened. So this is a setup of the camera system, which take a picture every minute, send the picture to a computer. It goes and runs for itself every minute, a new picture, 30-second exposure time. So this setup was running, and in the picture, in the middle part, you see a white dot. This is the light we have put up on another mountain to be a reference light. And you see the colors very up where you say the Hessdalen, you see there's an optical spectrum from this, we call it the reference light. So the idea was that we hope that the phenomena would show up together with this reference light. And then we would have done the analyzing much easier. So but what happened, these they started with flashes at 9:20 in the evening, strong flashes, which could happen everywhere in the valley, lasting very short time, but they were strong. Another 5 minutes, a new flash, and then 4 minutes, a new flash, 3 minutes again. So the time between each flash become less and less. And then there was, I call it an outbreak. This is where you see, but this outbreak was above this mountain, which was not in the direction of the camera setup, which I showed you in the previous picture. It was pointing towards south, but this is southwest. So someone moved the camera during the exposure. So all the movement of the light there is due to the movement of the camera.
The camera.
Yeah. Okay,
But
yeah.
there was another I call it outbreak, when this woo, big flash of light, the big happening of light lasting for some few seconds, and you got the optical spectrum. The optical spectrum here shows no scandium, but it shows more of the ultraviolet thing. They managed to take film too. Let me see. I hope you hear the sound.
I see. Oh yes. It's very, very weird.
It's yeah. It's complicated to see it.
So the student.
Yeah.
Did you manage to hear the sound?
Not
Well,
really.
yeah,
Very.
if not, I've sent you the film as well.
Yes.
Did you hear the sound or?
No, you don't hear the sound. So
No. Okay, you only saw it.
You can hear the student make some noise and screaming because it's really weird and exciting.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So you have got the video, original video. You can find, forget. But after this outbreak, there was nothing. No flash, no more flash at all. Let me see. There was we had a radar also running that evening, steady radar, and this radar is pointing at the same direction where the light was seen. You see Rogna, the red is where the picture was taken, and Finso, the other red, is where the other station is the light on the down on the hillside, which you can see on the picture. But those who was located at Finso station didn't see it because it was built on the other side of the big mountains. So it turned out to be where you can see in this picture.
Yes.
This radar system did record there was something even before big flashes, and it continued measuring something in the air even after so the radar, I think it was 1.5 hours before the first flashes started to show something, and it ended after more than 1 hour after the outbreak, before this radar stopped. So it seems to be captured on the radar even before and afterwards. Yeah, and also during the exposure time now.
Very interesting. Yes.
Yeah, here's we've done some analyzing, use Vegas, the star Vega to calibrate the camera system. We had the optical spectrum. So here's the result of the light, the optical spectrum, the Hessdalen phenomena, HB, and the star Vega. And we have used that to make some calibration. So Well, we don't need to go into all the details here, but you have what the blue is what we measured from Vega, and the green is actually what is the Vega original. So we used that to go into the response from the Hessdalen phenomena, and found that there is a lot of ultraviolet.
Violet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So that is important to measure.
Yes.
If you have
high peak. Yes.
yes. Yeah, we have put up another station to 2018. Skaravan. We used that during science camp. Here's another. Well, I mentioned we don't do things only in Hessdalen. This is happening another part of Norway, southwestern part of Norway, Setesdalsheide. And if you see on the picture to the right, upper right, you see a cottage, and you see a lake behind it.
The lake.
Yes, on the other side of this lake, there was the people who saw it was in the cottage, and they saw it on the other side of the lake. The lower left picture, that's from the cottage itself. You can see a little bit part of the roof of the cottage, and you see the lake, and you see black cross on the picture. That is indicated the movement of the light. The light was coming from the right part of that picture and moving with a strong light, moving slowly, in fact, in front of this hillside, moving to the left. You see the black crosses, and it stopped on the black cross all the way to the left, though. Just a bit to the right of this roof, and it stopped there, and it went down to the ground. It was snow on the ground, and it when this light hit the ground, the snow, it lost
magical.
It lost the intensity very much.
It's incredible.
But it was possible to see it, but it was very weak. It stood there for just a couple of seconds, and then it slowly went back upwards again, and slowly increased the intensity again, and it started to move back in the same direction as it was coming. In front of this hillside, so it was moving to the right, though. You can follow the black crosses at the same location where it was coming in front, and slowly become stronger and stronger again until it disappeared behind the valley. You can see, on the upper right, you can see the cottage, and just above that cottage you see a valley. On the other side of the lake, it disappeared in that valley. So, but the people went to see if there was any track in the snow a day after, and they found these tracks. So there was spiral formed tracks in the snow.
Spiral, yes.
60 centimeter wide, 2.5 meters between each. We managed to take samples of the snow, and we found that in the track, the bacteria had been killed. There was no more ordinary bacteria.
More bacteria, you mean?
So those bacteria who survived in that track was a different kind of bacteria, which is hard to kill. If you see the other two boxes in the picture below, you see the number of dots in between the tracks is many, and also on the reference 50 meters away from the track is also a lot of reference. That means there's a normally normal amount of bacteria in the snow.
So this is quite of a proof that something happened, something, you know, made the bacteria killed.
Yes, the bacteria was killed.
So
we don't know why, but
okay, so that's kind of a quite really interesting data as well. Yeah.
Yes. If it due to the ultraviolet, if it was maybe a strong ultraviolet, that could be, because we know that ultraviolet may kill the bacteria.
Okay.
Yeah, could be. But it was not melting. It was not warm. The snow was not melted.
Okay.
So that is also interesting. And
also
also
it formed a kind of a spiral as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, spiral.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. And no heat. And also from people in Hessdalen, the observation in Hessdalen, no one have ever told about any heat. Even when they have been close to it, no feeling of any heat at all.
Mm.
So the light itself is cold.
Very strange.
Yeah, very. That's very interesting.
I think it's maybe one of the most exciting I ever seen before. It's absolutely crazy.
Yes. Well, I've been to Australia. There's this picture from Australia. And the same thing happened down there to the right. You see a picture I took during the nighttime with long exposure, where we managed to get 3 blue flashes during the exposure time of about 30 seconds. This was outback Australia. I started to see the flashes. Well, actually, I believe that I saw the flashes lasting so short time, so you are never sure if it was a flash or not. But I knew from Hessdalen that when you do see or believe you see, then it's probably will continue with more flashes. So I took a picture, and actually I managed to get 3 flashes onto that light. One night we were in outback Australia in the nighttime, 11 nights, and on one of these nights we had 4 observations, quite good. And we had the magnetometer, so the red and green is the writing from the magnetometer to measure the magnetic field. So this instrument, the magnetograph, actually, we can make a graph of this magnetic activity. So the green is one channel, the red is another channel, 2 channels you see there. To the left, you see the green is quite stable, a little bit movement. And then the black arrows you see to the left, there's one,
yes.
and just after that, the green is a little bit bigger. So that means that the magnetic activity is increasing in amplitude. So it's vibrating in a way, pulsation we call it. And then you see the second black arrow, and just after that second black arrow, you see just below the green writing, the increase in amplitude is a little bit more. And then the third observation, just after that, it become very strong. First, so when the green is very thick, or that means this writing is going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and how far back and forth it goes, you can see on this how thick this green thing is. In the middle, I increased the speed of the writer, so just wanted to see the frequency, how fast this oscillating, this magnetic activity, this magnetic pulsation was going. So the lack of green, or the green in the middle part of the picture, it is just due to the fact that I increased the speed of the writing, so it was possible to count how many or find out how fast this and the frequency was 2 Hertz of this magnetic activity. Then decrease the speed again back to what it was, and then this green is thick again. So this is 2 Hertz is a normal pulsation, PF1 they call it, and that's a magnetic pulsation. No, then the Earth magnetic field can pulsate sometimes, but normally a pulsation is normally 2 Hertz, but so that's quite common here. But what's uncommon is that it's lasting for so long time. It lasts for actually, you can say, hours. That is very uncommon. That's very strange. And the other strange thing is that the pulsation amplitude itself is normally in nanotesla. That's very it's not so big as this one. This is 800 nanotesla. That's if you can imagine, and pulsation is only some nanotesla, maybe 5 to 10. This is 800, so it's much stronger. Okay. Nanotesla, peak to peak. So that is strong. So that was interesting. Yeah, I said peak to peak 800 nanotesla, and T, that's nanotesla.
Nanotesla, yes, I know.
Yes, yeah. So that happened only the day we had most observations, this high magnetic activity. So it's very easy to correlate this high magnetic activity with observations. Yeah.
So you as soon as you detect this kind of high magnetic field, then you normally have that. Can it anticipate, perhaps?
Well, we measured magnetic pulsation during our fieldwork in Hessdalen as well. Yeah. But the pulsation in Hessdalen was a little bit more normal. It didn't last for many seconds. Well, it lasted for some seconds though, but that's normal. And the amplitude of a pulsation was much more normal than what is normal around the world.
Because so you can't anticipate really, like you suddenly have a high peak and then you know the phenomenon is there.
Well, in Hessdalen, about 40% of the observations we did came exact when this pulsation occurred.
Oh,
so it seems to be some kind of correlation, because these pulsations in Hessdalen didn't happen all the time. It happened now and then, but these happened well in 40% of the observation of the phenomena happened when there was a pulsation. So a magnetic pulsation is interesting, but also magnetic storms, which is some more slow frequency of changing in the magnetic field. So magnetic activity is interesting.
Yes, they have noticed. I think it's Ronnie Werner, the one who looks for east part of the UFO Brazil. He went to Amazonia and he did found out about this frequency. I think it was like 1.6, and then another one 3 point something. That's megahertz. And also on the Skinwalker Ranch, they have found a frequency peak that happens just when the phenomenon appears.
Do you remember which frequency?
But I'm not really, but I can send it to you. I can send it.
Yeah.
No problem.
Well, the French scientists did also measure the frequency. That was 3 megahertz. That was an unknown frequency in Hessdalen. But that was not magnetic. It was electromagnetic.
Yeah.
So this is only magnetic.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, maybe we can, anticipate there when they come.
Yeah.
When they come.
Yes.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. Well, here's a list of the different institutes which have done work in Hessdalen. We have cooperated with many more, but this is actually those which has gone to Hessdalen with instruments and done their own research. From Italy, Germany, France, several from France and Greek. Yeah, here's the institute in Italy. And some of the people who have been there. So luckily this boss, which was boss at that time, he was very exciting to, well, actually Massimo was working on this location.
Yes,
so
yes,
he was at our conference back in 1994, and when he come back to Stelio and reported about this conference, Stelio was very interested, and he invited us to his location facility down there to have a presentation. That was 1995, the year after the conference, which Massimo participated in. That was in 1994. So the year after, we was visiting him at his facility down there, and his scientists, though, of course, and we started a cooperation. So in 1997, I think, Stelio was on his, and a couple of his people went to Hessdalen to visit and see, and he managed to see it for himself the first night he came there. That was a very good luck, you can say, because he had then seen it himself and he was excited to find out more. So that was very great.
Massimo told me that for the first night. Okay. Yes, it's a very lucky man.
Yes. But that was the first tour in 90s. I think the first with the whole team was in 2000, where Massimo was one of those who did the research, and some other.
I just found out about what I was talking about. It was 1.6 gigahertz. Sorry.
Okay.
He was testing a radio microwave, and he suddenly noticed this signal. But this signal, 1.6 gigahertz, has been noticed as well in Skinwalker Ranch. So.
Okay.
Always when it is an anomaly, this signal is always notified.
Yeah, straight away. As soon as there is the anomaly, suddenly they've noticed that they receive this signal.
Yes.
And it's really strange because this signal is for the communication between Earth and space. You know, for the satellite and telecommunications.
Okay.
That I don't know because I'm not a scientist, but yeah, maybe.
Well, that was back to the Italy. This is a picture from there. But now Giada Munari is a boss from 2013. Giada Munari has also been part in Hessdalen many times together with Stelio. And they have helped us. Well, they have been doing research. First of all, these teams, this EMBLA teams in early 2000, but they also been together with our students when we had science camp. So that is very popular among the students. They take part when they see that scientists from abroad come to Hessdalen and do science, and the young students do science together with this. That is very, very good. That's very popular. That was science camp. So we cooperated a lot with the Italian.
Do you actually get students from other country or only from Norway?
No, we're also Sweden.
Okay.
But it doesn't happen anymore. It stopped. So we ended in 2019.
Oh, yeah. And why is that? Do you know? Why did you stop?
Well, first of all, several reasons. One is that the COVID stopped it all.
Oh, yeah.
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 It didn't help.
Yeah. And it came out of system in that way. It was a couple of years. So we didn't start it again. But we have the experience though. So, and now I'm retired and we are not, we don't run so very easily up in the mountains anymore. So, well, maybe other people can do it.
Yeah, maybe young people could take it on.
Yes. That's
some of the students who you enjoyed.
Yes.
Perhaps.
Yes. But I must say that, well, come back to a new Project Hessdalen. We call it the field trip now. Yeah, this is some of the measurements from the Italian. Yeah, some more of the measurement that can be found on scientific papers. This is from University of Würzburg. The camera up there. CNES presented their cooperation with us. This is the mapping of the magnetic and electrical properties in the valley, done by people from France and Greek. This is the map on where they have walked and done measurements all the times. Different. So this can be found on the scientific paper, which was presented and which I can find on old Hessdalen website as well. This is some more details about their findings, which can be found in these technical papers. So this blue is indicating that there is location in the ground with very good electrical properties, as if electrical cable was buried in the ground, but it's actually the ground itself which is conducting the electrical properties. The conducting thing is very good, like an electrical cable. So the blue stop indicate how good electrical properties it is. And the lower line is indicating the depth, how deep it is in the ground on the electrical thing. So they walked very many kilometers and done these measurements. And below you see the direct link to this scientific paper. which they have presented, where all the details about their measurements can be found.
Okay.
Yeah, that one of the things they indicated that there's a conducting ring around Hessdalen. So if that has anything to do with the measurement, it's hard to say. Or the light. Some of the other happenings, more of the flashes when it's fog outside, battery empty, as I've told you about, power loss, conductivity, and electrical cable change as a questions mark in the power, high electrical pulses, waving feeling, strong ULF or infrasound, automatic in new cars can be disturbed. So it's something coming from the ground, electrical pulses maybe. Another strange thing from Hessdalen, we don't know if this has anything to do with the Hessdalen phenomenon. No one saw it, but a piece of wet soil was picked up and moved some meters. You see the picture on the top?
Yes.
The wet piece was to the left in that picture, and where it was picked up is where the people are standing, you see it, and it was picked up in one piece without any disturbances. It wasn't broken into pieces. So it's impossible to left with a human to pick up such piece of wet soil and put it some meters apart. That's strange.
Yes.
But this happened not so far from Hessdalen, but it's the closest time from a road is 2 hours walking, so it's no one did see it. So we cannot say it has something to do with the Hessdalen phenomenon, but we know that this is a strange thing happened in the area.
It has they put it in the air and they put it
On the ground?
just on the ground.
Yes.
It's really weird.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Just mind-blowing.
yes.
Mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing.
And what kind of instruments could lift that wet soil without disturbing it, without it breaking up in pieces?
Incredible.
They put it like that, put it just near like that. Mind-blowing, yes.
Yes. Well, part 3, Hessdalen 2021. A new owner of the blue box. The blue box was something I built, and actually my university college has paid equipment and so on. But now there's a new owner. It's not my Østfold University College anymore. It's Visit Hessdalen from 2021. A new team established because, well, I was retiring and I used my student. Now I haven't any students anymore. I retired. I cannot do the old job myself, but someone decided to do the job. So a new team, new manager of Project Hessdalen. It's not me anymore. It's Fred Pallensen. He's very clever. And new technical director of Project Hessdalen with a blue box and every instruments and so on, Frank Mikkelsen. So, and in soon 2 years, we made it a non-profit organization. My position is the chairman of the board, and it's possible to become a member. We had a new website. The old website is on the old hessdalen.org with all the reports, all the sightings, witness pictures from the old and so on. You can find on oldhessdalen.org. But the new thing, the new cameras you can go in and look directly, sit in your at your home and look at the screen, look through the camera just now, and record if you find something interesting, of course. That's possible. And the new system is also, as I mentioned, recording and do what they call a stack image. So 15 minutes video from the camera is made one picture out of it. So that's called stacked image, which can be found on the website. Yeah, and Discord, much discussion is happening there. So
I guess you're still in contact and you keep yourself updated on everything that happens with them, even though you're not the chairman anymore. Or...
Yeah, I'm not the technical man. I know, yes, things are happening. Yes, I know. Okay. I'm taking part of the meetings where Fred Paulsen is the man who run this. Is very good, and Frank is doing the hard stuff system in the blue box. So that's good. And you have several. Well, if people want to participate, I mentioned a team. It's very easy to become a team member. You go to Discord, get in contact, and you tell Fred, for instance, what you can continue on or what you can do. We need people, and we have got several clever people who is actually doing work. One of them made this stacked image system, and so there's a lot of technical activity going on. You can participate in program for software programming and technical stuff. So if anyone of your people want to participate, it's very possible. And if anyone if someone want to contribute, if they pay €5 a month, they're a member. Okay. Got more information, and then they can help us get the instruments. So that I will. I hope some people can contribute in a small. €5 isn't that
it's
much.
Not much. €5 is okay. Just be members. It helps.
Yeah. Yes.
It's a very good example. It's a very good example to us in France to show people working together in the same way.
Yes.
I think it's an example for everybody who want to study something like this phenomena is to work together. And now it is the period to know how to make some clan, but it's to work worldwide together and to participate.
Yes. Well,
Just questions, because this area is Hessdalen, right? Have you found out why interest those phenomena? Do you know what could interest them? Why do they show up in this area more than any other area?
Well,
do you have any idea?
Based on the geophysical measurement of the magnetical and electrical activity, the thing in the ground is a little bit specific. It's not so common. You have magnetical activity, which is very high some locations. You have this electrical conductivity. This is not that common which I understood of the geophysicists who did that measurement. So that may be one
One of
reason,
the reasons.
could be.
Because you don't have any military base around or any nuclear power plant, because we know that they're quite interested in nuclear or military maneuvers and things. So,
but the military, we cooperated also with the military in the beginning. It was very interesting.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so that was very good.
Right.
Yes.
I think it's mostly the power plant, nuclear power plant that you had. They're nearly Oslo, I think. Near Oslo. They're not really.
Yes, it's a research facility.
Yes.
It's only for research. So the nuclear system we have is only for not commercial for selling power.
Okay.
Well, let me see if there is something more. Yeah, summary of the result. I maybe said most of them before. Yes, it can show up from nowhere and just disappear. High energy, UV light, many different shapes, speeds. Yeah, why does it's very different? The different types 1, 2, 3, and 4 is very different in behavior. So it's hard to see if this is the same thing. But why does all these different time happen in one place? Seems there must be some kind of correlation or connection anyway. So new better instruments in the blue box. So follow us on this different location. I mentioned that we had field trip. I just said that well, during science camp, we got questions from old people or older people, parents mainly, of the young students who want to take part of it themselves. I thought it was interesting. So that's the reason why we organized what we call the field trip, which we organized last September with one long weekend with a conference and out in the field. And we are planning to do something similar in the next year. So if people want to participate out in the field doing measurement, they have the possibility. I would say that go to Discord and find out more. Or you can go to hessdalen.org and it says a little bit on that location too. So on the website, it's possible to see. If I could find let me see if I can take away this sharing. No.
We should get a group of French people who would just go there and
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Let me see. Investigate.
If I could find a website to show you the different. Let me see if I can see it. Well, first of all, share it. Find the share button again because I think I took it down.
It's on the right, down on
there.
The right.
It is share, and now it's. Let me see what they say. Oh, stop. Okay, there it is. Let me see if I find maybe this one. And yes, that's my homepage. And from there, I can go to Hessdalen, Project Hessdalen. So that's the new website of Hessdalen. And here you have this first live streaming up here, so you can go directly to see if there is something interesting going on now. So this is just now in Hessdalen.
Okay, live stream. Okay,
and the sound as well. And that was a live stream, and it's you can also go to next field trip,
yes,
and you can read about the field trip last year and next field trip. If you want to participate, here you can see something more, and you can tell your interest and so on. So there's a lot of things. This is the new old Hessdalen website where you can find several things. And if you want to contribute, it should be also easy to find. That's here, please help.
It
Kofi, where you can click on that one and tell how you can contribute very easily.
We have Discord too, Discord channel.
Yes.
So I will put all the link inside the description of the interview.
Great. I can also show you the old Hessdalen. You have English and Norwegian. English, go to there. And you have observation previous year. I mentioned all the stories from people back from 1967. You can find here, there are several really interesting. For instance, this one, and you can read a report from, I was showing this, and here's the whole story. So people can go in and read that one. Yes, and that is observation on the people in 1980, and you have all the different years here. And you have these pictures from the station, alarms from the station. You can go in and see what they have captured as interesting alarms from the station. And also, well, this is also a couple of pictures from the people who have done there, and you see also both picture, and you can click on the picture, and also you see the film which was captured during that observation. That was people can go into every year. Let me see if I find the one I showed you.
That's great, because you've got every details.
Yeah, here's that one I mentioned. You see?
Yeah.
You see that one? Which,
very good data.
you have the picture here. So people can find everything here.
Yeah, there's lots of details. Very interesting.
Yes, and also the stories, the articles. Here's this last scientific paper. Let me see if this coming. It's it's downloading now. It's the geophysical report, which I mentioned, talked about a little bit. So here's the whole report where people can read about all the findings where the people have walked and this graph and so on.
I just read the observation of Matthias. It says in 2023, where he was fishing on the ice and he saw this orange light near.
Yes.
Yes, it's quite interesting that you put all these observations there.
Yeah, well, this is from the old though, but the new one is the new website is on the hessdalen.org, where you find all the new things. So people can go in here, find a lot.
Right. There's a lot of data.
Yeah.
A lot of data. Okay. Thank you very much to all of this, of that, because it's very great work, and thank you to share it with us, because it's very important. I think a lot of people in this audience will be very interesting for all the data that you share today. Okay, so I have some question about my members, but my computer have a battery problem. Maybe it's the same. It's because the phenomena. I don't know. So I will put maybe the questions by on the chat on my group, so you can maybe answer the question later. And so I have a question I asked to Maximo is what are your advice to French researchers about the UAPs?
Advice to what?
Well, what can you advise to the investigator in France? What's your advice for them to research properly and about UAP? What could you advise?
Well, first of all, I think find the location though, and bring some instruments. Stay out in the location. It depends on how the location in France, how the lights is or the phenomena is showing up. If it's quite regular, or if it's a wide area, or there's a small district, and if it's taking a long period, a lot of different things. But generally, I would say bring instruments and cameras with grating. That's quite easy to get. Grating, optical grating, put in front of an ordinary camera. That's one important thing. And also could use infrared and ultraviolet. Infrared is more easy to get. We haven't used that too much either. But I think ultraviolet, if that's possible. And also it's easy to bring a very low frequency electromagnetic detection system. That is also quite easy to get, not expensive. You just put an antenna to an amplifier to transform the electromagnetic radiation in that low frequency band just directly to sound, and then normally you hear a noise. If this noise is changing the sound, so we had that device out in the field, and people heard on that noise, and if that hearing it sounded differently, that could indicate an early warning system for the phenomena. But it's very hard to have that system in combination with power. So if you have a battery system, that's perfect. But the power for instruments does normally send out so much noise itself. So the background noise, which I've talked about, is not possible to hear. That is one electromagnetic thing. If you get hold of a magnetograph, that may be not that common to get, but something you can measure the magnetic field. That is important. But maybe the most important thing is the camera with grating in front. That is the best. and map time and all the things happening around you. For instance, loss of power, battery problems, and such kind of things. For instance, when we had the first field work back in '84, we didn't write down every power failure. But it was first after some days we got the feeling that these power failure happened when the phenomena showed up. But sadly, we hadn't written down the details there, so we cannot prove it. But such kind of things is also important to write down, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, Professor Strand. It was a great pleasure for me and an honor too to receive you today for this interview. Very with a lot of details, with a lot of data, with a lot of experience too. Okay, so I will upload this recording of the interview soon with English and French versions, translations. Okay, so I will write a long paper on this interview with all the details, with all the link and all that we have said today. Okay, and I want to tell you thank you very much, and we keep in touch. And here in France, we want to make like you do, is to sharing data with a lot of people and make some good science and good projects.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure meeting you.
Thank you. The same. Good to be your host, your interview.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
See you. Bye.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.